You already know he's in the building. I want to thank my Heavenly Father, archangels, regular angels, ancestors, extended ancestors, all light beings, all divine beings, all high vibrational beings, and the lower vibrational beings that's working in God's, divine timing, divine favor, divine, his law. You know, he designed everything. He knows everything. You know why. You know when. You know how. Or she. Or, spirit, alien, however you want to call it, source. You know, he talks to all of us. And we so distracted through all the so-called luxuries and desires and indulgence of this simulation reality world, you know, how we was taught to perceive things other than the reality, the true reality of things. We have had lots of individuals throughout all of existence since this construct or system has been developed and corrupted and evolved into what it is today. You know, in the last video, you would say a lot of people in this reality or, in this governmental frame of mind around the world will call the way I think communism. But how is communism divine law, divine truth? I understand that we are all creators. We all create beautiful things, you know, strange things, things that, can intrigue if you don't understand or not willing to expand and obtain knowledge and process it to a point where, you have a true understanding or insight to what it is instead of calling it strange or magical or evil or, you know, in any, damning it in any way, shape or form. You know, this is a trigger warning. You know, what we call murder, what we call killing, it can be evil when it's done by evil intents, intentions, or with evil intent, period. But if you're defending yourself from an individual or individuals or whatever you come across that's physically, truly trying to remove you, it is your divine right. Your divine right. Fuck government. Fuck what you call, how somebody else said, for you to defend yourself ferociously, you know, if you can, not to completely eliminate, but to truly disarm and leave a real good statement that it's not here. And, you know, thank the divine, thank whatever God or guardian angel or whoever you feel is, your protector that, allowed you to walk away from that situation, however you walked away from the situation. Because you know or would know that you was done if that individual wanted to go that far because you wanted to go that far. But that individual that if it did go that far, they would lose a piece of themselves to a low vibration, a low action. And you all know in this reality or this system, you face consequences for, even defending yourself, which is kind of crazy. Also, what's crazy about the system is you presume guilty, automatic, and you have to prove your innocence. But yet they in positions of power where their word, supersedes, or they able to, manifest or, produce fake documentation, fake evidence, because they have the capital, and it's not even their capital, it's the government capital that they'll be using to, to their suffices, to how they feel fit. If they ain't righteous, if they ain't morally, sound, or have a moral, conscious, forget compass, but conscious. A lot of our interactions with our friends and, cliques and crews and, however you feel, cults, clans, whatever, however you want to call your group, or you feel your title of or those groups. We all do a lot of low vibrational shit to each other and to other people and call it normal. And 9 times out of 10, the stuff that, you know, those individuals put out, you know, energetically, physically, mentally, wasn't comfortable and will never be comfortable when it's done to oneself, to each individual that have experienced, you know, exile or shunness or you ain't one of us type of thing. or, you know, you gotta kiss ass if you go to hopefully be accepted into these, these families or these unions or contracts with, other energetic beings that if you ain't careful or mindful, which a lot of us ain't because we ain't taught these things as a reality, not just, the stuff that we learn, the street shit that, we just taught, but understand that if you know what not to do and how you avoid those things, happening to you because you don't like those things happening to you or don't want to experience those things that you have seen other people experience that really had no, no warrant to it. You know, it says, "Judge and ye shall be judged. Judge not," and nobody could judge you because you're not judging nobody else, and we can't judge other other situations because we ain't experiencing it. We haven't, we haven't went through the trials. We haven't went through whatever scars or training. Because basically it is a training, and it's a kind of a fucked up training because you don't even know you're involved, but your higher self do. And if you allow your higher self, your intuition, your heart, your, your full being of feeling, being human, truly human, and knowing how you want to be treated, how you want to be respected, how you want to be cared for, how you want to be, you know, sought after, thought about, you know, not because of what you have or, you know, what you can do and what type of surroundings you could, bring other individuals around that, you know, wouldn't be able to get in those surroundings without you. And 9 times out of 10, those are the same individuals that embarrass you. And at the same time, if we ain't mindful, we one of those individuals. Idolization, you know, peeking over the fence, being in awe of what somebody else have instead of being content with what you have. And if it ain't exactly what you want or you ready to, change it up, it's you that has to change. It's the inner work. We do a lot of focusing on the outer, what the next person is doing, and doing a lot of judging on the clothes they wear, how, they present themselves, who they be around. And then some of it is jealousy, even though we talking shit about, you know, a certain individual. And if we do it a lot, or constantly focusing on everybody else, we actually showing who we truly are. What how you actually see yourself, but don't want to admit, or throwing shade on somebody else to cover what you pray to God nobody see, that you know is there, because that's what you're afraid of, or that's what you don't want to face. That's why you have to be down with certain individuals. That's why you have to be with the hot boys or the hot girls, or the fly guys or the fly girls, or the it thing. You know, when you are the it thing, if those individuals or that it thing can't respect that you are the it thing, then you don't need to be around that it thing. And that it thing don't need to be around you. And the world still goes on. You still live, they still live. You're not worrying about them, and hopefully they ain't worrying about you. And even if they are, who cares? You're not there. You're not able, you're not there to entertain that. That's for, their enjoyment, however they see fit. And if you ain't around, they really don't know nothing. So it's just like a lot of people do. You know, very few people have conversation, real conversation, interesting conversation, able to talk on any level, any topic, and have substance to it. But, you know, we focus on everything else. We focus on who's fucking who. What you call what star. We know more about the star's bank account and assets than we have assets. You know, basketball score, stars, life, life, life history, whole team, multiple teams. Because niggas switch teams, go from here. They're new people if you think, you know. Not saying you can't enjoy these things, but that's a lot of energy, that's a lot of time, that's a lot of focus that could be focused on you and getting you where you where you see them at, even if you ain't playing basketball, or you'll be doing it your way. And it will be easy because it will be you. It wouldn't be something that, you trying to imitate, which a lot of us do. Everything we do is, is a mimic of somebody's teaching, spirit, person, and entity. God, goddess, God, deities, and the infinite so on of those derivatives. None of this knowledge is ours. It's given to us. And it's given to the worthy. And God is the only one that could deem you worthy. But it's through fire, it's through the trials, it's through the confusion, it's through the misunderstanding of what you know to be right and what you see is actually wrong. And get so abused where you start ignoring it yourself and then start doing it yourself. And in the beginning, I believe it would feel good. It would be a relief, because it's a lot built up. But 9 times out of 10, it will be towards somebody that's unknowing, that never did anything actually to you, and you'll be hurting that person because somebody hurt you. However, the individual hurt you, lover, friend, boss, brother, sister, mother, father, kids, spirit, alien, because it even works with them. You know, you gotta even, just like you gotta discern each individual here that we be around, that we allowed to be around us, or we wants to be around, or like to be around for whatever reason. And all of us need to sit down and really look at the reasons of who we be around, why we like them so much, why we don't like them so much, and start removing what needs to be removed from yourself. And when you do that, you will automatically, or they will automatically disappear, go in the other direction. The relationship is not the same. So it will be uncomfortable for both. And it shouldn't be no love lost. It's just, you know, it's a change. If you go, I still say what's up. We can still talk. We can still, hang out every now and then. And hopefully there's some growth within them and with you. And, you know, y'all keep it moving from there. If y'all could get on the same level, vibration, or understanding, then that person is good to go. And you good to go for them, because y'all understand each other. And not just talking the talk, but actually performing it, being it, you know, constantly being that. And if you can't, that's fine too. But that means you have to separate. If you don't, either that person will bring you down, or you'll bring them down, or an altercation can happen and it will set you off course, set them off course. You know, there's consequences to every action. There's, there's, for every action, there's consequences. And there's consequences for every action. You see how you could flip it either or, and it's still true. This is what I mean by truth. It's a perfect thing to situation, or example, to prove what truth really is. They both true, even if you don't see it that way, but you know it to be. How is it not true? It's what you call your axis causes consequences. From those consequences, actions happen, right? It's a contradiction, but it's not a contradiction. It's absolute law. It's absolute truth. Mhm. In the beginning, I was doing a lot of focusing on what has been done to me, what was being done to me, and what continuously being done to me. It took me a little second to understand, truly understand. You can't control nobody's actions. Manipulation is not control, and you can only manipulate for so long. You can't lie forever. The lie will collapse and show the truth. The veil will fall. The curtains will, come apart and show the workings behind the stage where all the so-called magic happen at. And this is what happens when, start having these awakenings or, elevating, vibrating on a higher resonance. You rise and you're being risen, you're being resurrected. You be given new eyes. And how they say you got the rose color lenses on, or shades on, or contacts, however. It's not just rose colored joints, just multiple. I don't have no names for them, which I can. I could create a name for, them, but I'll have to experience those other levels, which I have experienced the level behind the rose, the rose lens. And what was crazy, that that lens that I'm talking about, that's behind, or should have been behind the rose lens, and the one that should have behind, you know, the one that I'm talking about. Those was gone before the rose color, colored glasses, and those was the ones that sat first. which is which that's a realization right there. If you heard what I just said, I'm truly wrong for perceiving that the rose-colored glasses should have fell off first, or should have been the first ones to fall off. But say these are say these are rose-colored, or lenses, and I'm experienced well with it. But if I got more lenses on top of it, which I just explained that there's many more, maybe even more than I can number, but when we get there, I'm able to explain, give you more insight on what I wouldn't know. But I know what I know is truth. It's true right now. I know that much. So, boom, damn. So now I gotta contemplate on how many damn lenses did I have on top of the rose-colored glasses, and did all of them fall off down to the first one, to the rose letter, or it was doing, jumping around, because who knows? You work by, or, you know, all of us work by intuition, or, moving, like, how they say life don't have no musical or no rule book, that we just here experiencing it in the way that's true. But how are you perceiving it? How well are you perceiving it? And the better you perceive it, the better understanding that you gain from perceiving, being present, being open to receive the lessons, especially the ones that hurt us, because the ones that hurt us 9 times out of 10 repeats itself until it's noticed as a pattern, even if it ain't from the same individual. Then it's time to ask the question again. What's and it's not to beat you up, but what am I missing? What am I doing wrong? And if I ain't doing something wrong, I don't see that. What am I missing? I gotta be missing something, because I perceive that I'm doing everything right. Even when I already thought I was doing everything right and this came up, and I try to sit back and, you know, see see what's going on. Not just looking at the person's actions or, dealings, but also how I interacted